This happened on New Year's Eve 2 years ago. My best friends and I were going to my friend's house to celebrate. My friend lives in what would many consider the boonies. After taking an exit on the interstate, you reach a small city, make a left turn, travel through a smaller town, then get onto the highway for a few more miles before exiting onto a county road. This county road goes on for miles, roughly 30 minutes of driving, before you reach our house, which is at the end of this dead-end county road. Now that I've given an idea of the setting, I'll explain what happened. I was riding in the passenger seat with my friend driving. Two of my other friends were in the car in front of us. Everything was normal at first, until we exited onto the highway I mentioned earlier. It was late and there weren't many cars out, but a truck was following us. I didn't think anything of it until the truck also got off the highway and followed us down the same county road. This road has many different turnoffs to other roads and residential areas before you reach the dead end. Additionally, it is deep in the woods and has no streetlights. This will be important later. So we drive further down the road and I become uneasy because the truck still hasn't turned down a side road. I mentioned this to my friend, but she just said that they probably live further down the road. We keep driving and the truck starts flashing their bright lights on and off at us and riding the back of our car unnecessarily close. We assumed this was to trick us into thinking something was wrong and pulling over, which we obviously didn't do. I started freaking out and called our friends in front of us to let them know. They basically brushed it off and said we were overreacting. I hoped this was the case, but what happened next amped my fear up to 100. I looked back and with a sigh of relief told my friend the truck must have turned off a different road because the lights were gone. However, upon closer inspection in the side mirror, I could make out the silhouette of the truck. It was still behind us. They just turned their lights completely off. There is no logical reason why someone would do this on a dark and winding country road. At this point, I was honestly thinking we might die. I called my friends in front of us again and told them that the truck had now turned their lights off. We were deep into the woods at this point, and cell reception was abysmal, so I had to call them several times before they understood what I said. Luckily, my friend, whose house we were going to, exhibited some quick thinking and told us to follow her. When we rounded a corner, we made a sharp right turn down a long circle drive and shut our lights off. The truck didn't see us around the corner and kept driving down the road instead. We ended up waiting a few minutes and saw the truck come back the other direction before we felt safe enough to go to the house. Luckily, nothing more came of this situation. But creepy New Year's Eve stalker, let's not meet. It's great to see that Uber now warns users to always check the license plate before getting into a car, but my story happened about a year before that was put in place. A few friends and I were spending New Year's Eve at a house party. The new year hit, the party was winding down, and my friend ordered an Uber. Mind you, all four of my companions were some combination of very drunk or baked out of their minds. I was decently buzzed, but by far the most sober of the group, and assumed the role of mum friend by corralling the group to the street to wait for the car. It was freezing, pitch black, and the street was completely empty. A car pulled up and my friend announced that this was our Uber. So everyone started to make their way over. Out of nowhere I get this sick feeling in my gut. My lizard brain kicks into overdrive and tells me to get the hell away from that car. That's when I realised the car was missing an Uber sticker. Since my friend was too drunk to care, I grabbed her phone to check the license plate. This wasn't our Uber. I realised this at the same moment that my friend walked to the driver's side of the window to ask if this was the Uber for Sarah, and he told her that he was. I yelled to her that this was the wrong car, but she was too gone to care. "But he says he's our driver," she slurred. I channeled my inner camp counselor and yelled to her that this was not our driver, and that the car had the wrong license plate. Instead of walking away from the car, she asked him why the license plate was different if he was here for Sarah. And I shit you not, this ducker tells her that he put the wrong license plate on the car this morning, and she was so drunk that she believed him and almost opened the door to get inside. I yell at her to get the heck away from the car right now, because that is not our driver. Finally, she starts to walk away, but the driver grabs her arm and tries to force her in. The friend next to Sarah pulls her away, but the guy looked visibly unhinged at this point and ordered her to get in the car. The first thing I could think to do was to take my phone out, start filming the car and yell, "Hey a-hole, I'm filming you." This got his attention, and he was down the street before I could say another word. Not a second later, and our real Uber pulls up. We were all spooked, but they were drunk, tired, and ready to let it go to keep the good vibe going. All I could think of was some drunk girl leaving a party alone and forgetting to check the license plate. So, as the only one who wanted to do something, and also the only one under 21, I decided to call the cops. Not great in hindsight, but I'd rather get busted for being just shy of 21 and kind of buzzed than let someone get possibly kidnapped and whatever else. It all turned out just fine, and they caught the guy before he could find another victim. But we never found out what his motive was, or what happened after that. The best part of the entire ordeal, though, was the one guy in our group and his reaction. I've known him since kindergarten, and he's one of the smartest people I know, but he was so cross-faded that he actually believed the guy was just a nice dude trying to help us out. He tried to convince me not to call the cops because it would only ruin the guy's night, and it was New Year's, so he should have fun. He still vehemently denies this ever happened. In conclusion, always check your Uber's license plate. There was a church that my friend used to live by. We often went there to play sports and not get yelled at by one of the more frequent janitors. One day, we decided to go a little later than usual, at around 7 or 8 p.m. As soon as we arrived at the dimly lit church parking lot, I knew something was off. Me and my friend brought flashlights so we could see where we were going. These would come into play later. We arrived behind the church where we knew an old and forgotten basketball hoop was. I should mention that there was a lot of construction going on in this area, so there were a lot of vehicles and almost no lights for they had been taken down. Things were normal for the first 5 minutes we were there. As I was about to shoot, I saw a figure moving out of the corner of my eye. I told my friend and he said it was fine. He told me maybe it was a night janitor. We continued playing, but I always kept my eye on the spot where the figure was. I remember that as soon as our basketball hit the ground, a motion sensor that could be seen from an opening in the church courtyard turned on. This freaked both of us out, because as far as we knew, motion sensors couldn't reach 3 to 4 yards. So we started to pack up our things and leave. To the right of the basketball hoop was a soccer field with a hill in the middle. We heard someone at the field and shined our flashlights in that direction. we saw a man coming over the hill running at us. We started booking it for the road, which had quite a few cars driving on it. As we reached the kindergarten area, a motion sensor across from us went off, and there was now another man chasing us. Me and my friend had never run faster and felt so scared in our lives. As we made it to the road and crossed to the other side, something horrifying happened. We were opposite of the church with a green belt behind us. The men came up to the church's gate. I flashed my flashlight on them and saw two crooked smiles in bloodshot eyes staring at us. They waved and they both said simultaneously, "We had fun. We should do this again." We ran away as fast as we could. I haven't been to that church ever since, but to the creepy guys who tried to ambush me and my friend, let's not meet again.